Jayson Tatum is already a multi-time All-Star, a perennial first-team All-NBA candidate, a bona fide top 10 player in the league, and yet, a majority of the general public still believes he's a tier below the real cream of the crop. This season though, after the consistent disrespect he has received at the hands of the USA basketball coaching staff, we are going to see a new Jayson Tatum, a hungrier Jayson Tatum. The Olympics has inadvertently created a monster, and because of that, we are finally going to see Tatum take the best player in the league title by force. Is what I wanted to say. I really did. And then I dug into the numbers and saw that may not be as likely as I originally thought. Why is that? Give me 1 second, please. Playing in the Olympics does not actually make you better at basketball. Come back with me to August 8th, 2024, the single greatest moment in recent American history. Game 7 of the NBA Finals in 2016 was the last time I recall a game of basketball making me that hype. Down by 13 in the fourth against the best player in the world and the three most important players of the 2010s, the three pillars of my childhood muster everything they have left and bring the land of the free, home of the brave back from the brink of defeat. Are you kidding me? You must be joking. We got everything we wanted to see. KD demoralizing Serbia with effortless clutch mid-range after effortless clutch mid-range. LeBron James proving to be Father Time's most worthy opponent once again. Stephen Curry snapping out of his slump and having one of the best Olympic games of all time. Jayson Tatum? Wait, where's Jayson? Logging DNP coaches' decisions on the bench. If you have been living under a rock for the past 2 months, you may not know that one of the biggest storylines of US Olympic basketball was, why is Jayson Tatum being treated like the 10th man? The best player on the reigning best team in the league, why does his Olympic highlight reel consist of some really sick high fives and chest bumps? I mean, the dude wasn't even one of the two most important Celtics on the roster. It was a mighty confusing situation, even for someone like me who's in the Tatum is good, not great camp. 80% of basketball America was throwing tomatoes at Steve Kerr's house, lambasting him for the seemingly egregious coaching decision, and then Kerr finally got the chance to explain himself, and I'm gonna be honest, his reasoning, to me at least, made a little bit of sense. His reasoning was essentially Tatum did not fit the game plan. Serbia doesn't really have forwards, just Jokic surrounded by a lot of guards, so Kerr wanted all the bigs in the lineup so they could throw multiple bodies at Jokic, and then a lot of guard defenders to match up with everyone else. You add on to that the fact that Tatum couldn't hit the broadside of a barn all tournament long, and you can kind of understand the decision. Still though, it felt off. I have already said I believe Tatum is good, not great, but even I had him ranked as the best current American-born player in the NBA. Yes, Tatum may not have fit well with the game plan Kerr and them drew up, but to me, the very real argument can be made that Tatum shouldn't be fitting in. He should be the player you fit everything around. And as it turns out, I'm not the only one who thought this. Surprise, surprise, Jayson thought it as well.
Bro.
Y'all booking him for MVP next year?
Damn near.
Jayson Tatum.
Damn near. He damn near MVP, bro.
You sleeping?
Nope. He damn near. He gonna be on a mission, bro. Y'all know I got the inside scoop, bro. He gonna be on a mission.
Now, other than being the best podcast out in any genre without question, Club 520, Jeff Teague specifically, is really good friends with Jayson Tatum. They text regularly. So Jeff Teague saying this is one step below the words coming from Tatum's mouth himself. Tatum is telling us he's going to be a different animal this year. He's going to be locked into attack mode. He's telling us this is the year. Forget team basketball. I've already done that. I'm here to take the crown. And I wanted to make a video about this, but I couldn't just talk with quotes and stuff. I needed some way to quantify this, some way to statistically show how much better Tatum is going to get, and that led me to this. Every 4 years we talk about how player X is going to take the leap next season due to the Olympics. So much so that it's almost a cliche. We often just assume there is some Olympics bump, no Marcus Jordan, for everyone who participates in the tournament. So I decided to make a stat to quantify this. That way we have an actual number that shows how much the average Olympian improves after the Olympics. And then we can have the discussion on if Jayson Tatum will exceed this bump or not, because of his newfound motivation. Now, this Olympic bump stat was pretty simple to make, time consuming to compile everything, but fairly easy to understand. All I did was find each US basketball player that participated in the Olympics from 92 to 2020 and subtracted all their stats from the year before they played in the Olympics to the year after they played in the Olympics. That difference or change is the Olympic bump. So if someone averaged, let's say, 20 points per game before they played in the Olympics, but 28 points per game afterwards, then we'll say they had an Olympic bump of 8 points per game. I didn't use raw PPG though. no, I only use stats that were error-proof, or as error-proof as a stat can be. So everything in my data set was either counting stats per 100 possessions or advanced stats that take into account pace and competition. Put all of that together and you get a sample size of about 80 players, not crazy big, but okay enough to cautiously draw some conclusions from the data. So go ahead, run the numbers. Players who participate in the Olympics improve their scoring average by 1.13 points per game? Really? Assists 0.17, rebounds 0.18. Wow, just that much? Okay. Counting numbers don't always tell the whole story. Let's look at the advanced numbers. What is the Olympic bump in terms of box plus minus? 0.38. 0.38. If you're having trouble visualizing how small that increase is, 0.38 box plus minus is the difference between 2024 Colin Sexton and Terry Rozier. Can you even tell me which one out of those two is higher? We all just assume that through osmosis or something, good players being around other good players leads to everyone getting better. I just watched a video the other day about how Bam Adebayo is going to take the superstar step next season because of the Olympics, and the video was plausible. The analysis of Bam's game was spot on actually, but it all hinged on the Olympics being the catalyst for NBA players' growth, and I don't think that's necessarily true. In fact, if you take a deep dive into every single case of improvement, for a good 80 to 90% of them, Olympic basketball is not one of the 3 most plausible reasons for the positive change. Of the 10 most improved Olympians of all time, 3 of them are players off that 2004 team, Bron, D. Wade, and Amare. Now, is it plausible that riding the bench and being on the first US team to not win gold since '92 motivated these players to take an all-star leap? Yeah, sure. But I'd say it's even more likely that these guys were going to make the leap whether they were in the Olympics or not, by virtue of them being first and second year players. Out of every Olympian, the 2 highest Olympic bumps ever in terms of points per game was 2016 Harrison Barnes and 2020 Jeremy Grant. Did the magic of the Olympics and the aura of elite talent turn these career role players into fringe all-stars? It's possible, I guess. Both of them going from being the 4th option on a good team to the 1st option on a bad team probably played a bigger factor in that jump though, at least in my opinion. Of everyone in this data set, the closest case I can see to Tatum's is 08 Wade. Side note, D Wade got his meniscus removed before his rookie season and proceeded to have a top 3 all-time career at his position. I know he's pure lemon zest, but please put some respect on his name. 08 Wade had by far the biggest Olympic bump in this dataset. He was literally number 1 across the board in advanced stats increase. And 08 Wade shares a lot of similarities with 24 Tatum. 26 to 27-year-old two-way star who's already led a team to a championship, regarded as a perennial all-star but never broke into the true MVP discussion. D Wade was even disrespected in the Olympics in a similar way to Tatum. If there was a case to be made that Tatum is going to have an all-time breakout season, Exhibit A should be 08 Wade. If you dive a little deeper into the situation around Wade though, the similarities start to die down. Did being around great players make D Wade better? Or after going through lower body injuries, upper body injuries, a coaching change, and a huge shakeup of the roster in the season prior to the Olympics, did he finally just get a little stability that allowed him to show the world who he really was? I am not saying that the Olympics don't help the players somewhat. I'm sure being around other great players shows these guys how to train better, how to lead better, little tips and tricks that can help affect winning, but that's not what I'm looking for in Tatum. That's not what any of us are looking for in any of these Olympic bump guys. When we are saying these guys are going to take the leap, we're not talking about marginal improvement around the edges. We are talking about a jump in statistical dominance, and that's something that we frankly rarely see an Olympic appearance directly lead to. So the real question isn't, has the Olympics made a monster? The real question is, has the Olympics, along with all the vitriol he's received, helped Jayson Tatum create a monster? And despite all the data I went through, despite all the hedging of bets I just did for like the last 6 minutes, I don't know, this feels like a special case to me. It's giving "we bullied the quiet kid one too many times" vibes, and I'll refrain from finishing the joke for fear of being too out of pocket, but I think we're about to see an all-time season from Mr. Tatum. And with that, thank you for watching the video all the way through. We greatly appreciate it. If you enjoy this content, why don't you go ahead and like and subscribe? We got a lot of good stuff here for you at the Sweatshop. Comment down below how you think Jayson Tatum's 2024-25 season will go. Share the video with a friend. And as always, stay sweaty, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.